small presentation of a second issue Dariusz has been working on since at least since 2014, and which is a lexicon of Central and Eastern European Interwar theater avant-garde, which is a result of long-term project which was realized under the auspices of Rajewski Theatre Institute and 6 or 7, a lot of researchers working in Central and Eastern and Europe. And maybe you could introduce it, how you came to the idea to make such a lexicon, which is a non-classical lexicon, which we have in front of here in front of us, and we'll be able to have a look at during the day. So this would be my question, Dariusz.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. I need to put the long story very short, because the story is really long, but I told it before. I told it in an article published in Czech Theatre magazine, and also in the introduction to the lexicon you will find some outline of a long history, because it started far before 2013, when I was appointed Deputy Director of Rajewski Theatre Institute in Warsaw. It started with my meeting with Hanna Wesolowska, who should be there with you, from Kiev, when we both discovered that somehow we are close geographically and culturally, but we really don't know so much about our theatre histories. Later I met some people from the West who had some knowledge about Central European theatre avant-garde, but it was fragmental. So there was this idea that we need to do something to first learn each other about our theatre cultures, and then try to learn the word. That there was something like Central European theatre avant-garde. So we started a whole chain of meetings, of conferences, of international group of researchers from this part of the world. Of course, I know that the very concept of Central Eastern Europe as a group of countries and cultures that are squeezed between Germany and Russia, more or less, may be controversial, but in fact from the very beginning we were aiming at establishing such an entity by a means of academic performance. We were organizing conferences, publishing books. Finally, this book that is called Lexicon. So this is not a lexicon, of course, it's something else. But we were trying to first convince ourselves and then convince others that there is such a phenomenon as Central Eastern European theatre avant-garde, that we have so much in common that despite all the differences, we are able to present a specific set of values, methods, perspectives of doing theatre, not only theatre but also of doing performance, that are somehow rooted in a specific historical and cultural experiences and I would even say environment of our part of the world. And the Lexicon, this huge book, is a result of more than 10 years of discussions and research, done separately, independently by outstanding researchers from different countries, from Latvia, Lithuania, Belarus, Estonia, Czech Republic, Slovakia, Ukraine, of course, Georgia, down to Hungary, Slovenia, Croatia, Serbia. I think all countries we managed to invite, and we were presenting each other our knowledge about theatre avant-garde. And by the way of this presentation and discussions, we came to the conclusion that we are not able to present a lexicon understood as a set of entries organized in an alphabetical way and including all the knowledge we have about the certain domain, but rather we are going to perform this phenomenon by a series of different stages, let's say. So there are 3 parts of a lexicon, and each of these parts is devoted to another, I would say, stage of the Central European theatre. Interwar Avant-Garde, the first part is devoted to the national stage, and it's a kind of introduction when you will find some basic information about the theatre avant-garde, interwar theatre avant-garde of each of countries, each of nations that are covered by the book. Then there is an international or transnational part devoted to exhibitions, magazines, mobility, and also to transnational workers' theatre and transnational Jewish theatre. And then there is the third part with focused on mainly artistic aspects of this avant-garde, on drama, movement, performance and form. So we were trying, by this book, we were trying to establish the existence, the very existence, and present the specificity of theatre avant-gardes of our part of the world and the theatre avant-garde, Central European theatre avant-garde. And I personally, I would say that when we started, I was like, okay, we are gathering all these people, we are telling the stories about outstanding artists and companies, but I wasn't sure that really there was something like a Central European theatre avant-garde. But after, I'm absolutely convinced that this phenomenon was real. It's a real historical phenomenon that somehow was forgotten, somehow was neglected, because we are squeezed between these two very, very powerful theatre cultures of Germany and Russia. But somehow these artists cope with this pressure, and they really were fascinated by specificity of their own theatre cultures, and also fought to create a future shape of this culture. And this is this basic avant-garde gesture. We are doing something for the future. We don't know what will come. We don't know what the results will be, but we are trying as much as we can to do something for the future. And somehow this is also the characteristic of this book. If our performance appears to be effective, in the future there shall be a new studies about the Central European theatre interwar avant-garde, and I believe, I hope that this research will be developed and that the idea will be strengthened by future researchers who will follow us.
Thank you, Dariusz. The title of the research project was Reclaimed Avant-Gardes, and the Slovenian Theatre Institute and our academy, we were also very proud to be part of this project.
From the very beginning.
From the very beginning, and Anna Kosiński and myself, we were basically working on during the project, and also other colleagues from the Theatre Institute. And the good thing about the book, it's also because it's an affordable book. It's not a book which is about 100, 200 euros, but it's a book which is about 30 euros. So you can buy it and read it, and I really suggest, it's a really very good suggestion for everybody. I think it's a wonderful book which you'll be able to read. And I will give you a link to introduce the book and the project more, I will give you later on today the link to the interview Dariusz did for the Quark magazine, which is a Quark journal, which is a very interesting journal published in Wrocław, in which he explains the project. I think this is a very good example of how to deal with periphery-center relations, and this project which started with about a kind of in crazy idea to try to make a lexicon of unknown territory or partially unknown territory about the avant-gardes, which we basically don't know a lot about in between the different countries of the Central and Eastern Europe. Was really something very fruitful. Maybe we will have to thank Dariusz once more, because we will have to finish now, not to get out of schedule. But if somebody has one more comment or question for Dariusz, I kindly ask him to put it. Not at the moment. Dariusz, would you like to add something to the incredible topics you were aborting, and you were getting us very deeply into?
I think you all need coffee.
Yeah.
As I know, I participated in many conferences, very disappointed, which everybody thinks only about coffee. So, any one of you would like to ask me about something, or try to, let's say, we can start to establish this net of researchers. Thomas has my contacts, so please write me, and we may stay in touch for the future conference. Thank you.
I think this is a very good proposition. Thank you once more, Dariusz, and we will keep working.